All right, people, here we go. It is now a Thursday, the day after Christmas, the 26th of December, 2019. Let the record reflect that one Joe Raineri and one Tony Finn are diehards. We never, and I repeat, never not work here. We're never not here for you. I want to go on record with that, Finn. First of all, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Santa was good to you. And let's get ready for some basketball here tonight, my man.
Ditto.
Amen, brother. Now, in the midst of yesterday's festivities, we did have 5 basketball games. And some takeaways from these games. I think the NBA does a pretty good job of owning Christmas, which I think is good. 2 quick takeaways from yesterday. I think number 1 is Boston's a pretty good basketball team. Would have liked to have seen Toronto a little healthier. I think that would have been an interesting matchup. But I do think some of the things that ailed some of the contenders last year, like the Milwaukee Bucks, there are just certain matchups that are still ailing them. And some teams, it appears, Tony Finn, are built for the regular season. Some teams are built for the playoffs. Milwaukee, dare I say, I mean, the Greek Freak is amazing, but again, who else? Because once he was shut down, that was pretty much the end of Milwaukee, much like what Toronto did to him in the playoffs last year. Yeah,
if you can control the paint to some degree, I don't want to say dominate the paint. I don't think that's absolutely a given or a concrete fact or anything I could prove. But if you can do what Philly did yesterday, that was play good, solid, technical defense, get some points in the paint, hit some jumpers, then you're going to be able to, at least for Philly, they're going to be able to compete. And really, that was the formula. What they did yesterday was they came out. They were a lot more prepared. I thought they were a lot more focused than Milwaukee, which surprised me because Milwaukee's been good no matter where they play.
Right.
While they haven't been great against the number, they've been good enough to put together a pretty damn good record.
Yep, and it's same old, Milwaukee. They're going to win their share of games. They're going to be great in the regular season, and then at some point, they're going to have to go through Philly. It's the bottom line. And they're going to have to figure out a way. Long, athletic, they're kind of built to beat Giannis. That's exactly what they are, Philadelphia. Now, whether or not those shots are going to fall for Tobias Harris and others, that remains to be seen. But yesterday, I thought that was a good litmus test, as was the game of the night, of course, between the L.A. teams. Listen, the Lakers dominated that game in a lot of aspects. They should have won that game, double-digit leads multiple times, blown. And in the end, when they needed to play, I'm watching a gassed Anthony Davis, who had to play 30 minutes in that game, just sucking wind up and down the court in the fourth quarter there. It's quite obvious to me when you have a 6'11" dude and a 7-foot dude and Dwight Howard and AD, and you lose the rebounding category. Yeah. That's rebounding's all about effort and who wants it more, and the Clippers just want it more up and down that lineup.
I think, and we don't want to use one game as the end result or the sample size to assess a team or grade them completely on a season, but I think the Clippers, at least coming into that game, I believed it. I believe they're built to play tough physical defense.
Yep.
I believe that they are built. I think they have the mental makeup of a team that doesn't care about the regular season. Listen, LeBron was that way when he was Cleveland. If you remember, he would sit out games. There was times when he knew how to pace himself. And I'm telling you right now, Leonard and that group, Paul, they know how to pace themselves, not only in a game but through a season.
Yep.
And it's going to make a difference. They are. I had the Clippers last night. I thought they should have been 4 or 5 point favorites with LeBron being iffy, and Davis having sprained his ankle or knee a little bit. I really believe that they should have been the favorite. There's no home. While their Lakers are always going to have that edge at Staples because of who they are and who they've been, there's a lot of Clippers fans now. Listen, it's growing daily. And what they did yesterday was they just hung around. They hung around and they won.
Yep.
Not only did they win, they just listen. That team, Joe, tell me I'm wrong. They had that makeup is really good with George, with Leonard, and you have the Wichita State kid, you got Beverly, and those two guys, they don't have to have the ball to do what they're supposed to do.
Nope. Yep.
And then the unicorn is who? It is the sixth man off the bench. He has to have the ball. Yep. That's his job. Now he's kind of the unicorn once he's integrated properly, and they all know where they're going to be on the court. I still think, and call me crazy if you want, I still think this Clippers team right now, if they were going to go into the playoffs, they would be the favorite to win the whole thing.
And they should be. 15-2 at the Staples Center now after that win there. Obviously, they like playing there. They don't care what the emblem is on the floor. They're pretty good at the Staples Center. And even Lou Williams, that unicorn off the bench, had single digits in points there yesterday, guys. It didn't matter. In fact, the Lakers bench outscored the bench of the Clippers. But where they lost is what meant most. They didn't get enough second chance points, and they were beating them on the boards all day long. And I don't think Paul George ever gets enough credit. He shut down LeBron single-handedly last night, guys. Single-handedly. He only had 17 points, but it wasn't about scoring for him last night. 35 points for Kawhi Leonard when you needed it. That was fine. Paul George's job was to take LeBron out. He took LeBron out. That's a different team with LeBron out of the game.
You could not be more accurate. Those two, Leonard, if you look at their plus-minus, actually LeBron, my adjusted, LeBron and Davis have a better plus-minus. However, Leonard and George are outstanding on both ends of the court. They can not only can they create their own shot, not only can they score, not only can they take over a game, they can shut down the team, the opposition's best player.
Yep. Take him out of the game, right out of the game. And when you can do that, and by the way, the groin injury looks to be a problem moving forward, guys. And the numbers don't lie. The plus minus there with just Anthony Davis on the court, no LeBron, guys, is in the negative. We're looking about -10, -11, somewhere around that. So without LeBron having on the court there with Anthony Davis, he's a different player. The team is different. It's good to see Kuzma come off the bench like he did, but you can't be throwing games like that away. And the other thing you're watching yesterday, Tony, was I'm watching this through the lens of the playoffs. Yeah. The tempo was playoff tempo last night. Very slowed down at times, very methodical. I thought Philadelphia did a great job of grinding them out there at home. Same thing with the Clippers. They were never that far out of the game. You kind of felt like when in the third quarter, when they wanted to shut you down and get back into it, that's exactly what they did. And it all starts with Kawhi Leonard.
I've said there's many in-game lives I've done with Walsh, who's Kevin's a huge Laker, huge LeBron fan, right? I'll say that. I say that with a caveat that he's realistic as well, though. And and we've talked in the first 2 months of the season, both of these teams, especially against middling teams that are going to be 500, 550 teams or less, these two teams can pretty much do what they want to do. They can win by margin. They can win by a little bit. They can do. Again, they're not Alabama against Middle Tennessee State, where we can set a line if we want.
Yep.
But we both know that Alabama is going to decide how much they win by.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
That is the way these two teams can be. Not if LeBron's not healthy, and neither have a true point guard. To be honest with you, look,
correct.
They don't have that true point guard. And if there's a team, I guess Lou Williams, the unicorn.
Yeah, he's going to come off the bench there and he's just going to dominate you across the board as we got Tony Friend frozen there, but we will get him back. That's the problem right now, and that's going to be the big problem for the Lakers moving forward, is they're going to have no problem at this particular point winning games the way you have watched them win it through the first half of the season, Tony. You're going to see them with Anthony Davis and LeBron James when healthy. They're going to dominate 3/4 of this league. They're going to have minimal losses. They're going to have all of these great wins, Tony, but ultimately when it gets down to the playoffs, you're still dealing with a dude in his 30s here, guys, all right? I mean, we're still dealing with I think LeBron, somebody did the math when it comes to LeBron. He's played like an extra 2 or 3 years just simply in playoff basketball alone than everyone else. It's going to take its toll after a while. I don't expect to see LeBron, guys. I mean, I know he made a big thing about load management, but call me crazy here, Finn, if that I'm looking at this and I'm going, there is no way on God's green earth, that we are going to get a situation where LeBron James should be on the court anywhere near the damn court, as far as I'm concerned, Tony. I don't want to see LeBron. Like, I don't want to see him on the court. If I'm a Laker and I'm in the front, if I'm Genie and company, do not put LeBron on the damn court until he's 100% with the damn groin. And he may not be, but there is no reason to keep taking 2 steps forward and 5 steps back with him. Get his ass off the court until he's close to 100%.
They made an awful big. I think they made far too much of his injury last year. Now, granted, they weren't. I didn't think. I did. I'm one of the ones that said they're not a playoff team, even if LeBron scores 30 a game and plays every minute of every game. They weren't. I've never been a Lonzo Ball fan, and that. Listen, that's a great trade. Let's just be right now to get rid of Lonzo Ball, and I know that it's much more involved than just Lonzo for Davis, but that was a trade that surprised me. But I think we both know. I think everyone knows. And I think Davis was the first one to tell you that he wasn't going to stick around New Orleans.
No. And you've got them. They both are injury prone at this point right now. Yeah. So like you had said, the big thing with the Clippers is game management, season management, understanding how to pace themselves. I don't think they quite know how to do that yet. Making a big deal, load management. Oh, I don't, if I'm healthy, I'll play. Well, do me a favor, LeBron. Sit your ass on the end of the. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm going. I don't want to see him out there. Don't keep taking 3 steps backwards, and then next thing you know, come April, we're like, where's LeBron? Oh, is he going to play or is he not going to play?
I don't think Doc Rivers listen. I know I have a lot of our peers and a lot of our coworkers and people who are in this business, whether they're touts or whether they're writers or whether they're scouts, whatever they be, that really like Doc Rivers and think that there's games that he knows he may not win because of matchups. Maybe he's got some injuries, some guys are sitting, whatever the case may be. But every single game, every single game matters, and he plays them so he and his players are going to be better in June.
Yes,
and this team is so. I get some goosebumps when I think about this team and Doc Rivers because I like Doc, and I've always liked him. I liked him with Boston. I didn't think he had everything he needed there to win, and I think Danny Ainge is terrific too. But I think he's a stubborn SOB at times and has made some deals that I don't think were very good. But he's also made some great ones. He stole some players. Again, today, this you and I both know this could change a week from now. But this L.A. Clippers team is the team to beat.
Yep. So with the records yesterday, guys, I don't know if you were paying attention. Take your number 2 pencil, write this in your sports betting journal, and I certainly hope you're having one each and every day. So jot down a few things that you've learned and were able to take away. Did you see how many underdogs won last night straight up, guys? 4-1. Did you happen to notice how ridiculously shaded the lines were in those games because of the recreational dollars flooding the market because it's the only action going on? Take note of those things moving forward, guys. There's a reason why unders and underdogs have been very profitable over the Christmases there, Tony, Finn. There is a reason because they know you're going to love. The books know you're going to love the favorites, and they're going to shade lines. Some of those lines were a little bit ridiculous. And do I need to mention Golden State at home, putting it together there? And listen, that was another takeaway, Tony. I'm watching that game going, all right, listen, forget about this year. If all you do this year is groom these kids on this team to join Clay and Steph next year with Draymond, you've got yourself, you're going to be back in the conversation next year, no problem.
You're being awful liberal with the word Golden State.
They won 3 in a row. They got 8 wins on the season here, Finn. There's no reason to bash them. But you start cultivating some of that young talent. Hell, it's better than a G League having a chance to play next to Draymond and D'Angelo. So
I guess, listen, what we'll do is we'll put a We'll put a little poll out there under Joe Raineri's
Love
name and his Twitter, and say, when is it? When's it going to be okay to call GS Golden State, or how long do we call them GS? There's a few things that we could start setting some guidelines and some rules so that one of the panel, be it you or me or whoever else is on, slips like that, because that's a
three-game win streak, dude.
That was a slip.
It's a 3-game win streak. Yet if I don't call them Golden State now, what am I going to do? Now, granted, they haven't earned the Golden State moniker until just yesterday, but it's also very telling what happens when James Harden's ass isn't shooting 25 free throws in a game, and he's not. Oh, what a different player, right?
Yeah, well,
I don't trust that team as far as I can
James Harden gets to listen. You have to earn. I hate to say this. I hate to be that, but he's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You listen. You earn some
point.
things
Yep.
when you win.
Yep.
And he gets so many calls, Joe. We both know
Yep.
that he gets calls that I'm not sure. And this is sacrilegious, whatever you want. It's blasphemy.
Yep.
I'm not sure Wilt Chamberlain can get some of those calls.
And again, different player. When Russell Westbrook has to, he scored 30, going 12 of 32. When he's got to start chucking it up from all over the place for you to score, that's not good, guys. So that's another, put it in the book, guys. Put it in the book. Keep that in mind. If the calls ain't going his way, he's a different player. And they don't often adjust, because we've already documented the ills of that bench for Houston too, which is going to be another problem. But
they're going to get healthy. They're going to get one player back they really need.
They got to get Gordon back. Yes, they absolutely do. At some point, they're going to, because they need the shooting. All right, limited card here today, guys. 6 games on the card. We'll run through a couple here real quickly, get you set up. We'll start, of course, with the Battle of New York. Interesting enough, you've got the Knicks taking on the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of money still coming through on the Nets on this one here. It opened up at 7. It's now pushed to -8. 221, now up to 224. It seems that a lot of people are expecting some points in this game here, Finn. You had a chance to look at it. Tell me what you think here of this game.
Here's this. As Whittle goes, so go the Nets, in my opinion. And it looks like I'm froze up again.
Yep, I got you. I hear you. Go ahead. I'll get you. Keep going.
Okay, good. And are the Knicks capable of manning up Dinwiddie and slowing him down?
Mm-hmm.
There's some other pieces that have been pretty good outside. Now, let's put it this way. Let me ask you a question, maybe more important than what I have to say, and that is,
sure.
When Irving gets back, is this team a postseason caliber team?
That's a question, and and the record says they don't need him to be that. They could be a 7-8 seed without Kyrie. So what does he bring to the table? Is he a detriment? We have this conversation with Kyrie every year, don't we?
I know. I do. You're right. But this is the first year, and you would think that you could probably get a half a season of civil behavior from him.
Yep.
You would think so. Excitement with the new team. It's new, and I'm not sure we can get that. I'm just not sure. But maybe the question is, how do they fit together? Does this team, is Irwin going and take control of this team? This team still play as they're playing now, or do they get better? That's the question. I have to be completely frank and transparent here. I'm not sure.
Yep. I'm not sure either. I know they're probably good enough to beat the Knicks. I just don't know if I'm comfortable laying 8 with them at this particular point at the Barclays.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I won't.
It's a tough spot, man. Make no mistake about it. It is a tough spot. As well,
not the day after Christmas, Joe.
No, I'm with you, man. I mean, there's only so many gifts that Santa, the NBA elves, can bring to us here. So we will talk about another game here as we get Tony Finn connected here once again. We'll get him up and ready to rock and roll in just a second. But the truth is, The Knicks going to be at home here, going to be on the road here tonight, battle in New York, 8. There's going to be some points scored here, too, as well, guys, so get ready for it as that line continues to creep up and creep up and creep up. There's a couple of other very interesting bottom feeder games that are going on here tonight, too, as well there, including... How about Washington? The Wizards find themselves getting ready to do battle with and let me just make sure I got the latest line here, Finn. The Wizards taking on Detroit. Now, there was some question, of course, on Blake Griffin, but he is listed now as probable. This opened up as Detroit at home, laying 6. It's now 5.5, 6, somewhere around that ballpark. The number's coming down a little bit. 231, it opened up as a total, down to that 228.5, 229 mark. We've talked about it on this show before. If we're going to bet Detroit, it's going to be at home, right? I mean, that's where we're going to back him out. And listen, the Wizards were severely shorthanded here this week, and we've watched them win a couple of games. Like, what the hell was that? So, where are you lying in this game here tonight?
If you think Bradley Beal can score 75% of the team's points, and that be enough to beat Detroit, then that's the only way you play Washington here. They're beat up, they're shorthanded, they're on the road, and if Detroit's at home with the two bigs, they're going to have their way. They're going to have their way, and they're the play here.
Yep. Yeah, it's they were fortunate enough here in the last game to be able to do it. I do think there's going to be very little defense. I do think the pace is going to be up. There's going to be a furious pace going on in this game. But I don't know. The Wizards aren't a team that can be trusted in this spot. I can't do it. So I'm with you there, Tony. Which also brings us to another game here where I talk about a team that we have not trusted. But I know there's going to be a lot of very happy people in Dallas as Luka Doncic looks like he's missed 4 games due to that ankle injury that he suffered against the Heat. But it does look as if he'll be back here tonight. And the Dallas Mavericks, and this might be a shock to some here, but this line, moved from 5.5 to 8 the minute they announced that he was coming back. Total hovering around that 226 mark. It stayed pretty steady. 3 points there, Finn, for a Doncic that hasn't played in a couple days against a San Antonio team for whatever reason is dropping 145 points a game, shooting 80%. Like, I don't know. Can you trust him?
Well, I can trust Dallas, I think. I can trust Dallas even in Doncic's first game back more than I can gauge and prognosticate the Spurs. The Spurs team is, again, well, I've mentioned on the show, you've heard me say it before, this is the youngest team that Pop's ever had, and they have serious holes everywhere, at every position. And this was the year that and I'm embarrassed to tell you, I don't know the exact number, but is it 20 straight years that San Antonio's been in the playoffs, whatever it may be?
Yep.
17? This is the year they don't make it.
Kind of crazy to think like that, but isn't that the truth?
It's the truth.
Yep. That's
and
the way
here's
it's
the deal.
be.
I prefer we talked about this before. We went live. We'll call it live before we started taping, and that is that I've made my money on Dallas on the road. I'm not having laid the number and they've been better. They went in and beat Milwaukee on an 18-game streak or 17 or 18-game streak. I don't remember the exact number, and didn't just beat them. While Milwaukee made a charge at the end of the game, they were pretty much in control. They did what Philly did last night. And so in this situation, I sure like 5.
Yep.
But listen, if Kristaps is going to play like he's been playing since Doncic has been injured or out, then Katie bar the door. Then you can probably lay 8 against the San Antonio team and feel very comfortable doing it.
Yep.
I'd like to see another 5-10 games with Porzingis playing as he has, and I think he's had a double-double every game.
That's correct.
Since the kid got hurt, and if he plays like that, and Dallas gets they get the play from the rest of that bench and those young kids that are very capable, then they're a team to be reckoned with, in my opinion.
Yep. It's They seem to have found something going on in San Antonio. It's interesting. Bob's got him believing the last couple of games. Pretty impressive stuff. But a tall order here to go on the road for a battle of Texas here with San Antonio going to be getting, it looks like, at least 8 points here as the money continues to flow in on the Dallas Mavericks for the return of Luka Doncic.
No, Joe, is that DeMar and DeRozan?
Yes.
His numbers and his, if you look at some advanced stats on his defensively, he's been inept almost.
Yep.
When he's on the floor, they're not there. He's not the player. He's surely not the player Leonard is, and that trade. And what I thought was, I thought it didn't fit very well. I didn't think DeRozan was a pop kind of guy, but this year it's been trouble, and you know what you're going to get with Aldridge. You know what you're going to get with him. Mm. He is a pop guy. You know what you're going to get with DeRozan. They have not got what they thought they were going to get, at least not so far this year.
Yeah, they did drop 145 on Memphis, guys, but more importantly, I think, guys, they gave up 115 to Memphis,
that's correct.
And that's the problem right now. Listen, Aldridge dropped 40 on him, and he shot, 70% from the field? Yep. San Antonio is actually very unpop-like, but they're giving up around 116 points a game this year.
Yep.
The over is 5-1, I think, in their last 6. They're 7-3 to the over in the last 10 on the road. Yep. Also 8-3 to the over in the last 11 on 2 days rest. To me, if you're going to play this game, you got to be looking the over here and don't anticipate an awful lot of defense being played.
I could not agree more. They have not been very good defensively, and it's not just in the paint. I think they're one of the bottom 5% in allowing 3-point field. They're just everything in the perimeter is going down.
Yep.
And it has to do with their defense, the guard, the amount of space between the opposition, where they're shooting from, and they're just not being bothered enough. These guys are not playing the defense that Pop is. We're used to seeing Pop teams play.
That's correct. Another game here on the West Coast, two, in fact, at the 10 and 10:30 time frame. The first one, not sure on Karl Anthony Towns, still listed as questionable, has not been ruled out for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but all of a sudden the Sacramento Kings get healthy and they can't win games. So Karl Anthony Towns hasn't played since December 13th, and there's probably a good chance he'll probably sit out again. The Timberwolves lost 7 in a row without his presence here. They've dropped, or actually since he's gone, I think they dropped 4 more. So, but listen, they're struggling too, Sacramento. We knew this was going to be a problem for them, trying to get the rotations back and a feel for each other. I'm looking at a line here right now, I think somewhere around the 4 or 5 mark there, Tone. 222 seems to be the total. Let's just assume he's not playing. Do you trust Sacramento to get to right the ship here against these Timberwolves?
Well, I was very surprised. I thought this total would really take a dip. I thought the Sharps would be all over the under in this game because even when Towns does play, it's Wiggins and Towns. And the other night, I was doing the in-game live, and we talked about this on Monday. Covington had 0 points, and we were in the fourth quarter, and they were hanging.
That's right.
And that's not going to happen. Of course, that was against GS. So this team is not going – they don't play much defense. And unless you get huge games from Wiggins, huge games from Towns, and if Towns doesn't play, I like the under 2. What's the number?
222.
Is it 220? It's down a little bit. Listen, it was a 227 earlier today.
All right, so it's creeping. Yep, it's creeping down. And it's the under also pretty good – in the Sacramento aspect, 4-1 to the Kings' last 5 at home, and 23-11 in their last 34 at home against losing teams. So this is, this sets up well for they can get the defense right, score enough points to win this game, and at least get back on track, which leads us, of course, to the Portland Trailblazers and one of Tony's favorite teams, the Utah Jazz. That's right, Utah Jazz at, what is this, 14? Both of these teams, really. I mean, Utah's been a little bit topsy-turvy at times, finding it hard to be able to score points, but Portland has been, 14 and 17 for a team that advanced to the Western Conference Finals last year, but they've managed to at least right the ship a little bit here. Hopefully they can continue to get healthier as they move along. But Utah is at home. It's just been a different animal as usual. So do you trust Utah at this particular point tonight to lay the 5? Opened up at 6. So it looks like there's some money coming towards Portland. But do you like Utah? Also a total of 220, 219, 220 in this game.
I do like Utah. I think Utah's probably since the end of November. I think in December they've been fairly predictable. I think they've played to their skill set. This is not a team that you want to lay a big number with. That's not the way they play. They don't have. We were doing in game live one night, and both Kevin Walsh and I think it was Opposite Picks, Mr. Opposite Picks.
Yep.
We made a quick call to my insider that handles Utah from Salt Lake, from the paper there, and he said it was their bench, that they were not getting the production from the bench that they needed.
Yep.
And when that happened, they were going to be a better team. They were going to be a more reliable team. Well, they're getting some production from the guys that didn't have very good Novembers. And most importantly here is this matchup is as bad as I consider the Utah bench is for a team that was considered to be a challenger for the Western Conference title.
Yep.
I mean, the West title. You look at the numbers the books put out and the team win totals on the Jazz. They were actually there was many books that had more wins for Utah than LA Lakers, for instance.
I like the Clarkson trade too that they made. By the way, because they need. Listen, Mike Conley they really thought he was going to be sort of that difference maker, the quarterback there, but he's not hurt. He's hurt now, and he's not been exactly the guy they thought he was going to be for this lineup. So I think Clarkson brings a cheaper version and ability there to be able to help this team the way Conley hasn't.
I will be surprised if Clarkson averages what he averaged for Cleveland, because I think he's not going to get that many minutes. But what he does, you're absolutely correct. He gives them some points off the bench. That second rotation, Clarkson, 5.5-year vet. He can score 15 points. He can dish 7-8 dimes. That was a good trade.
Yeah.
I think it was a great trade. I agree with you 100%.
Yep, smart trade, because it looks like Conley's going to be shelled there with a hamstring for a couple of days at least.
They cut Green.
Yeah.
That people say, how could they cut? Well, because he wasn't producing.
That's bottom line. It's what have you done for me lately league. So there you go, guys. You got some plays here to gnaw on tonight. A couple of bowl games tonight, 6 NBA games, plenty of action available for you. Where? At WagerTalk.com. Ready to rock and roll. And, of course, Tony's got his finger on the pulse, as you can hear, with just about everywhere, every city, everywhere. So whether it be his bowl games, NFL, or his NBA plays, they're available right now at WagerTalk.com. Finn, under the handicappers page there, Tony Finn, check him out. And what do you got going on here, Finn, this week? You got some plays up there?
I got a lot of plays because last night or over the Christmas holiday, I'd already had a decision made on almost 12 bowl games that I really liked. But before I released them, I wanted to make sure that certain players were
obviously
going to do what they said they were going to play.
Right.
They were going to do, and that's play and not sit out, et cetera, et cetera. So right now I have 5 or 6 bowl games up that I really like. One goes today. It's one of my big plays, one of my big ticket plays. And that's the Miami and the La Tech game. So that said, I'm on the Holiday Bowl. Go to the website, you'll see I have about 5 or 6 up, and I have about 5 or 6 more pending. And we're 10 bowls down, 10 games down, 30 to go, Joe.
Yep.
Still got quite a few games.
Yep. Plenty to go here. And, of course, the NBA season, the fun just begins now after Christmas, guys. So make sure you join us. Be back again tomorrow, same time. We'll have, I believe, the Doc will join us. Tony Finn, Rob Vino will be here. The whole crew will be back. And we'll get you set up for not only Friday night, but get you set up for the weekend here in the NBA as the second half, the unofficial second half of the NBA season is kicking off. Tony Finn, good luck with your plays here, brother. Enjoyed the time, and as always, we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Can we talk? Is it time to start talking Major League Baseball?
I can't. Don't even get me started with that,
NBA
dude. Don't
show.
even get me started with that, man. I'm all over it. Love that. Yeah, wait till you get me and Finn during baseball season. You never get rid of us. We'll just sit here and start busting down FIP numbers and throw you all out for a loop there. Don't even get me started. Do not. Mr. XFIP, that's what we're calling Tony Finn. Guys, good luck with the plays. Join us tomorrow again. It is the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by Wager Talk. Tony, good luck, brother.
Thank you, brother.